Quick disclaimer before we jump into this video. This video will feature profanity and images that some people may find offensive. So please, if you are not interested in these sorts of designs, please do not watch this video. Thank you. One of the easiest ways to find out what's selling on Redbubble, Teepublic, Merch by Amazon, or any print-on-demand site is to simply go into Etsy and type in something. So I'm going to type in that. And as we can see here, there's 72,000 results, and I'm going to start looking at some of these and find out what's happening. Here's one. Congratulations. It's a retirement card. This is by the Pixie Card Company, 9,500 sales. It's selling fast, only 3 left, and 17 people have it in their basket. It's certainly not a technically complicated design. I wonder why it's so popular. Here's another one. It's a literal jar with some little trinkets inside of it, and it's $38, and there's 3 left, and over 20 people have it in their basket. Let's break this down. It's a jar, it's a label. 4,800 sales. Here's I'm not going to be able to get through this without laughing, by the way. So here's socks, and we can see here how this person feels about cancer. It's a local seller in my neck of the woods, 15,000 sales. 3 people have this in their baskets right now. Funny retirement card, 9,500. Again, I mean, I think like these are really easy to do. So I'm going to break down how this is done. And the reason I say it's easy to do is once you figure out the formula, then you can make some pretty easy sales. So if you're not making easy sales, then hopefully this is the video for you, because there's a formula, and I'm going to show you in this video 3 things that you can look for. So when you find things like this, you can make it yourself. And this is going to be a fun one. I know it's not for everyone, but let's have some fun with it. All right, so rule number 1, at least in my books, the way I do it, is negative language. And this is actually a positive. So what you would do is you would take whatever somebody's passionate about, and then you would say the opposite. So instead of somebody being excited about something, like think of like a sports team, kind of like yay, yay for our team, you're going to say boo for that team. So whatever state you're in, whatever province you're in, whatever country you're in, whatever person you don't like, that person's a dummy, that person's an idiot, that person's a moron, whatever the language is you want to use. So that's an easy one there. This is another one. My governor can't even spell idiot. So, again, this is, you could say any sort of politician, my governor, the mayor, like you could basically extract this out. So this is what I'm looking for, by the way, when I'm looking for niches to exploit, is I'm thinking, how can I scale this design up? Can I use it for local things? Can I use it for country, state, different areas, different cities, that sort of thing. Here's one that's kind of positive. You suck less than most people. And the idea here is that it's funny, but of course, if you put that on a t-shirt, you'd probably offend somebody by it, just, the word suck. So, I mean, this is something where you could have this sort of language for birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, that sort of thing. This is very common. You can also do anything sucks. So you could have certain professions, you could have certain types of people. Now look, I want to be really clear. I'm not talking about bashing certain identities. I'll never, ever, ever promote anti-gay, anti-woman, anti-man, anti-race. I'm not talking about any of that. Okay. So please, like if anybody starts like complaining, like that's not what I'm talking about at all here. And I hope everybody knows that. What I'm talking here is about things like if you're on a motorcycle, crashing sucks. You could say unemployment sucks. Like, it would be funny, but it's rude. It's offensive. The idea is that you're saying more than just thumbs down. This one makes me laugh. I love magic. So I guess this is why this makes me laugh. The little red ball. Again, it's one of these things where you either think it's funny or you don't. So I think this is funny personally. This is just a middle finger. I mean, there you go. I mean, you could have different colored hands. You could have cartoon hands. You could have like, I don't want to say Muppets because obviously they're trademarked, but you could have like a fuzzy cartoon hand, a mascot hand, that sort of thing, flipping off the middle finger, a robot hand, that sort of thing. This one's funny because you could scale it up. You could say disco doesn't suck, you do. And you could say heavy metal doesn't suck, country doesn't suck. And then you could also have this name of your town. You could have the name of your country, the name of your state, that sort of thing. So there's lots of different ways that you can, establish your identity. And remember, when you're buying on Redbubble, the consumer is buying something that they can't buy in another regular grocery store, Walmart, Target, that sort of thing. So look, there's obviously some adult content on places like Redbubble, and I'm not going to show you a bunch of nudity, but this one made me laugh. I mean, this is a little banana and he's losing his peel here. This is a way that you can make something rude without it being necessarily offensive. Is you can basically humanize fruit, animals, inanimate objects, that sort of thing. So the idea here is that if you think, a sexy person taking off all their clothes, that's the idea. And then it's like, well, how do I make that less offensive, but still rude? Well, still have, a fruit taken off his peel kind of thing, right? So you could do this with other types of food as well. You could have a cracker taken off the box, for example, or, there's all sorts of ideas. This is one here where, somebody somewhere is going to get offended by this shirt, right? That's the whole reason somebody would buy the shirt. So what happens a lot of times is you'll look at designs like this and you'll say, well, who's ever going to buy such a thing? Man, I'm telling you, people will buy things because it's offensive. They will buy things because it's outrageous. It's also a gag gift, right? Don't discount gag gifts. If you have friends that go to stags, stagettes, and these are like parties before people get married, somebody turns 18 years old, that sort of thing. These are really popular gifts. So people buy a shirt, the lowest quality shirt for the lowest quality price, and they just give it knowing that it's probably going to wind up in the garbage in a couple weeks anyway. So it's designed to get a laugh, and that's it. It's not designed to be worn for 8 years, and you're not going to a job interview wearing that shirt. At least I hope you're not. Here's another one that's not necessarily, I don't want to ever sound like I'm trying to be rude to an artist. I'm not saying this is rude in the sense that it was intentionally rude. What I'm suggesting is if somebody had this on a shirt, someone might go, oh my goodness, that's inappropriate. So that's the only reason I mentioned this. I actually think this is a very nice painting. It's high quality, or a high illustration rather. It's a high quality print, and lots of people have this sort of thing in their bathroom or in their house. And so there is a market for, I don't want to say this is erotica. I mean, there's no nudity on it, but I mean, it's certainly designed to elicit a response. And so, this is also very easy to do, right? You can take vintage illustrations, vectorize them, basically remove the background, and you've got yourself an outline of a female body, a male body, that sort of thing. This is a little bit more, out there. Like the last one was a little more subtle, right? This is a little more just like right in your face. Anything that's got a tongue, a mouth, lips, seductive eyes, hair, what I call like bedhead, like somebody who looks like they just, got up and they weren't exactly sleeping, if you know what I mean. But this is naughty in the dark graphic shirt. So you could do this as well. You could take vintage images and public domain images, and if it's of a woman or a man, you can basically overexpose their face in this case and create sort of a silk screen design. This is very popular as well because all it is basically a mouth and, part of a nose. I mean, that's about it, right? This is another one that, it looks at first glance like, oh my goodness, this is outrageous. But when you look at it, there's no actual nudity in it, right? Now, obviously they're not, sitting here having a coffee. But, the idea here is that you can have this sort of a design, and especially with, younger, I don't want to stereotype, right? So I don't want to say like younger people are more, apt to buy this sort of thing, but typically counterculture is driven by younger people. And so they're buying things on purpose to be outrageous and to get a reaction. So I know if you're like middle-aged, like for me, like I'm not a young person anymore, I'm not going to be buying this because I have no interest in having somebody at the local 7-Eleven start yelling at me about my rude design on my t-shirt. But if I was 12 or 13 or 18 or 22, I may be looking at these sort of designs because they're naughty. And if you're part of the counterculture, that's a reason to buy a product on Redbubble. You can also just search for genitalia as well. You can just take a look at male or female genitalia. I would recommend, by the way, if you are making these designs, make sure the mature content is on. It is sort of a shock if you're searching, banana, because you're looking up some potassium design, and the next thing you know, you're met with, a little how do you do there when you're not expecting it. Here's just an example of a very simple design that is, it's just, there it is. And so this is on the first page, and there's 11,000 results, and this is on the first page. So it certainly doesn't need to be a work of art, and it certainly doesn't need to be, spending hours to try to make it exactly right. This is one where they're just basically saying something, and I used this when I was doing the video about comedy, about funny designs. Just do something that you would not normally say in public. Like, that's the text design. So you would say something that if you said it in public, people would gasp. Just put that on a design, and there you go. So this is a kind of a funny one because you would never say this or display this out in the world, but that's what makes it funny, and that's why people like it. Here's just another one. They're just cartoon, genitalia. It's not particularly, amazingly original where you're going, oh my goodness, I've never thought of that before. But again, people are buying it because it's easily identifiable. You don't need to necessarily make it some ridiculous work of art that takes you hours and hours to draw. Okay, so a really easy way to look up designs that sell is to simply start Googling swear words in your designs. So here's one that I picked, 51,000 results, and basically, you can just open them up and start looking at them. The reason somebody's buying this design is because there's a swear word in it. It's the exact same there. All you got to do is change the font, throw up the design. Here's one that's a little bit more witty, right? At least it's got the elemental table on there. This is just text. It's basically, so you could change, like when I talk about scaling up these designs, this is how you could do it. I'm not always a insert, you get 85 swear words in your life, throw another one in there. Just kidding. And then there you go. So this piece here, you could change the font, and that's pretty much a design. This one here is a kitty cat, which I love. And the cat's even wearing glasses, which gives him added authority. It says here, you're a B word. So that's another one where you could switch out the text and you could scale this up. Here's another one where I just looked up a different swear word, in this case, the F word. And as I open up a couple, this one here just says, do I look like I give a? And then you could basically change out the swear word again. If you've got 85 swear words in your life, switch it out. Here's another one, F it. And then let's ride. Well, you could change, instead of the swear word, you could change the swear word, but also you can change what this is. F it, let's play golf. Let's go boating. Let's go camping. Like whatever it is, right? So you could come up with instantly 100 different designs based on this, just changing out the text here at the bottom. I'm surrounded by, and then be creative. There's all sorts of crazy swear words out there that, people use. And the more creative you can be, the better. Because again, you're basically niching down inside of profanity. So that works too. You don't need to just keep to the standard F word, a-hole. You can also, use more creative, swear words as well. One little bonus tip is if you're really, pardon the pun, one last bonus tip here is that if you're really not sure what to design, if you're really struggling and you're like, I just don't know what to do, I'm never going to suggest that you just rip off somebody's design. But if you see something like this was not particularly a great sticker. The reason I say that is because it's kiss cut around the sticker, and it's, this is the little tiny piece here. This is actually a second sticker. You may just want to take a similar, like the same text, make the font better, make it on a circle, make it maybe a genitalia outline, and make that the design. It's the same general principle, but you've improved on the existing design. Unless this is trademarked, and I don't think it is, but I mean, hey, check it out. You can just take an existing design and just say, I can do better than that. I can make the font better. I can make the design better. I can make it funnier. I can add a picture. So you can do that as well if you're really struggling when you first start out. Nothing wrong with that. So I hope you found that helpful. As always, feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. I am more than happy to, throw you my 2 cents on this. But just a heads up, I don't have any judgment about what people put on designs. So I'm not the morality police. I will say I will never, ever condone any sort of hate speech or anything that's offensive. But if it's something that's a little bit naughty, you only live once, right? You might as well give it a shot. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much.